Good morning, Volodymyr. It's good to see you.
Good morning, Jason. Nice seeing you as well.
So, Volodymyr, since the last time that we spoke, a lot's happened. How do you make the current situation in Russia today? What's the economy like now?
I think Russian economy is somewhat on the edge, right? And so we are thinking about economy where even exchange rate cannot be fully trusted, right? So it's not tradable currency. It's not working. It's not operating by market laws, right? So it's being completely controlled by the authorities. At any point of time, you can get either official or unofficial warning, oh, look, you shouldn't trade your currency above this limit, or you shouldn't be trying to buy that much currency, right? But even if you're looking at that, we can see that the exchange rate is increasing. Now you need to pay increasingly more rubles per dollar. Especially political factors will be affecting how it works in Russia, right? So we've seen this attempt on mutiny a week or so ago, and immediately within a week, the Russian currency became weaker by 10%, even more than 10%. Plus, if you think about forecasts on Russian currency, if you go back a month and a half ago, the forecasts were actually pretty stable, right? So they would say, okay, Russian currency will be somewhere in the corridor between 75 and 85. Now you're looking at average forecast maybe being 130 by the end of the year, and the corridor is much wider. That's between 110 and 150. And that's, again, the corridor kind of without having new extreme events in the future.
When you look at the energy sector, do you see the effects of sanctions there? Have they been effective there as they've been in other places?
Sanctions did not completely eliminate Russian exports of energy, and Russian exports of energy is number one channel of their revenues, but they now force Russia to sell at a discount, and they now force it to sell it to trading partners like China and India. And of course, both China and India take advantage of to buy Russian oil at discount. And they do that, and now also they are, for example, Indian banks say India does not recognize sanctions, so they do buy Russian oil, as we know, but Indian banks want to be careful and they don't want to pay in US dollars for Russian energy. So they were attempting to pay it in Indian rupees. And then Russia doesn't want to do that, right? So then nobody wants ruble. So it seems that there is now an official compromise, which nobody recognizes explicitly, but anonymous sources talk about, is that it's trying to pay maybe in Chinese currency, yuan, even though, India is not that eager to do that because they have their differences with China, right? But all of these additional kind of things, they remove the profit margin of Russian exports. And plus, when you sell it, you should buy goods immediately, either in China or in India, right? So you cannot make these big savings. It's very difficult to reallocate these savings in trustable sources, right? So nobody wants to keep unprotected savings in either China or India. And so that adds additional complications.
Many people talk about a labor shortage in Russia as a result of this war and other factors. What do you think? How bad is the labor shortage currently in Russia?
Many those like in central bank and other places recognize the shortage of qualified labor in Russia, right? So we have many people left the country. Typically, these were the most qualified who can kind of be competitive abroad. Then some are trying to hide from being recruited. Some were recruited, some were killed, right? And so you have the shortage of people that are trying to recruit, but you also have shortage of people that are trying to recruit even to rebuild their critical infrastructure, especially when it comes to rebuild bridges, electricity, and all that in areas close to Ukraine, right? And so that's why they have to promise much higher wages and salaries, and so that kind of adds a spin to the inflation.
Volodymyr, that was really interesting. I appreciate your time and giving us your analysis.
You're very welcome.